As you heard in the introduction that I was a monk. Yes, I was a monk for 19 years. But now I'm no longer a monk. I'm just a man like all of you. See? Anyway, I must admit that I hesitated before deciding to speak on the theme of hope. To me, hope is such a strong emotion, such a powerful idea. But I also realize that for many people, hope is just an abstract concept. Especially here in America, the rich and the fortunate country, that many people use hope just in a very casual way, such as, I hope to see you soon, or I hope you can come to a dinner. For me, I come from a country where the sense of hopelessness was not only the widespread, but it has been an enduring part of our way of life for decades, if not the whole life. Cambodia is a very beautiful country that I love very much, and I choose to live in that country. But the stark reality is that it is a country where our memories of tragic political history remain burned into our national consciousness. And the impact of Khmer Rouge is still deeply felt today. During the Khmer Rouge time, among 2 million people were killed, and much of the country infrastructure was completely destroyed, including its education system. Can you imagine a country with 7 or 8 million people? In 1979, there was even no one functional primary school in the whole country. In 1979, there was no even one functional healthcare center. And the capital city of the nation, there was only 75 people walking and living there. That was the reality in Cambodia. And it affected me deeply and personally when I was growing up. I learned this harsh reality not through learning the history, but through my own experience living and growing up in that country. That I was born into a poor and abusive family. My parents were divorced, and my father left when I was an infant. And my stepfather was an abusive and alcoholic. The family situation was very bad, so that my mother thought, here's my mother today. My mother thought that it was good to let me live with another family. Of course, my adopted family was very kind. They provided me with food and shelter, but I did not stop searching for my own mother. A decade later, I returned home. Still, the family situation was very bad, but my mother was supporting the family as much as she could. But there was never enough money for us. So that's why when I completed my primary school education, my mother could not afford to pay the bride of $5 in 1995 that was demanded by a local official if I was to continue on my education in the middle school. Now, fast forward 20 years. How is it that today, this boy from a third world country was born into a poor and broken family, abusive society, and denied an education beyond primary school, is now sitting in front of you with a Harvard graduate? I got 2 degrees from the United States and well-dressed. and giving a speech at TED Talk. How many Cambodians have come to this country and give a talk like this? This must be something very strange for many of you. But the answer is very simple. I found a way. I found a way out. Hardly a magic formula, but a simple set of ingredients capable of converting the life of hopelessness into one of the hopefulness. In a moment, I will share with you some of those experiences. But to get there, I need to tell you a little bit more of myself, the lessons that I learned, the experience that I've gone through, and how they shaped me as a person, as well as how they influenced me that I undertake my own social mission back home in Cambodia to change the lives of Cambodian people. I have so many things to tell, but let me just tell you one story that I believe it deeply embedded in me and it's strongly holding in my heart. That was in 1998. It's about malaria. A couple of years after I became a novice monk, I contracted malaria. Initially, I did my best to heal the disease, the sickness, with Cambodian traditional herbs and medicines. But it didn't work. With the last of my saving, finally, I visited a doctor. Still, malaria persisted. With no money left, I didn't know what to do and where to go. I thought I should just let the sickness take its course. I certainly didn't tell my mother, could not tell my mother, because I thought that if I told her, she would borrow a lot of money that she could never repay. Remember that time, 1995, $5 was a lot of money for us. So I remained in bed, lonely, quietly, was unable to move, unable to eat, deciding that if I was to die, at least I would do so with the Dharma book in my hand. That was the last wish and the only wish of my life in that time. Fortunately, the fate intervened. As a novice monk, one of our duties that every morning We have been to visit the surrounding communities with our begging bowls to collect food and other support from the villagers. As the sickness prevented me from conducting those daily routines, one of the women, her name Sokha, asked the other monks where I was. On hearing that I was sick, she took a taxi to the temple. She was terribly shocked to see how sick I was at that time. Was very skinny and ready to die. After hearing a little bit of my story, especially why I did not go to see the doctor, immediately she said, "Do not worry about the cost. Do not worry about the medical cost. I will take care of everything." Can you imagine? In the moment that you have no hope, you were ready to die. By hearing that word, for me it was like a magically heavenly given medicine. I felt like I was totally okay. Totally okay. I didn't know what kind of medicines did I take and how many days I was staying in the bed, but through her simple kindness and generosity, my health was restored. I was able to pursue and continue on my other duties and education. This is the lesson that I learned from the malaria. The power of hope and the power of kindness, energizing the hope. Then it became a core value in my life. Kindness, kindness, and kindness in your heart, energizing the people so that they can transform their own life. Since then, it was becoming so clear to me that there was a way to tackle the deeply embedded problems in people's lives, trapped in poverty and hopelessness. If we just could do something simple with our kindness, we would energize the people, give them a realistic hope so that they can transform their own lives. Because this was precisely for me, worked with me very well and for me very well. If it could work for me, I also believe that it could also work for the others. With these simple premises, it led me to the creation of a charitable organization called Life and Hope Association, a non-profit organization in 2005, with the purpose of bringing hope into life through compassionate care and education. Compassionate care and education. At its modest beginning of 10 years, LHA, or Life and Hope Association, is currently implementing 6 programs, including the Children's Center, the orphanage, providing a loving life, a smiling home, and a hope for the children without parents. The Sewing Training School provides the skill to the illiterate women and girls, the opportunity to learn skills so that they can empower themselves and be self-employed. The Foreign Language School, the Language Training Center for the students, especially those who come from rural areas. The Food for Education provides food as an exchange for the education of those 1,000 children. And Buddhism Society is exercising the sense of compassion into the activities. And by transforming the words into the activities we call socially engaged Buddhism. And finally, the page programs advancing girl education. It's a boarding house for young girls who are highly motivated to finish high school and beyond. All these programs aim at helping the poor and the most vulnerable citizens of our society. As I don't have enough time to tell you all of these, let me just tell you one simple story. That life was completely changed through the Life and Hope Association, the girl named Supol. Supol, and like all the other girls, children, and young women that we care in our program, was born into a poor and a broken family. At about 7 or 8 years old, her parents were divorced. Then they moved into their grandmother's house. With the sick mother, Supol was doing everything to support her family, as well as to keep herself in school until she was in grade 10 and she left the school. At about this time, the Life and Hope Association was opening its new project called PAGE to help the girls like Supol. Then Supol was selected. We put her through in high school, and unsurprisingly, she graduated a bachelor degree in Khmer literature, and now Supol is a teacher, teaching one of the local schools and changing many lives. At the same time, when she was in our programs and at university, Supol kept close in touch with her brothers and sisters so that she could inspire, encourage, and keep them in school. And all her brothers and sisters have finished high school. And one of them just finished the vocational training school, then he became a mechanic, and the two others still attending university. My friends, to see the transformation of Supol's life means a lot to me. Not because it is mirroring the way I escaped from the poverty and hopelessness myself, but it is also because it's one of the thousands of lives that we change through the Life and Hope Association. And her story also illustrates the multiplier effects that I always share with my team in Cambodia, and of course I will share it with you as well, that we believe that by changing one life, changing one soul, we change one life. By changing one life, we change one family. By changing one family, we change one community. By changing one community, we change one society, the country, and the world. Just start from one at a time. This worked for me very well. The lady, through her simple kindness, changed my life. Then I was able to change thousands of lives. And today, at this moment, at least 2,000 lives of children, young women, and girls are changing through Life and Hope Association. If you ask me what you can do to improve the world a better place, I would just say simply that with your kindness, you do something to change the life now, then the world will be better from now. Here's my equation. Life plus hope equal change. Life plus hope plus education equal a greater change. Again, life plus hope equal change. That is my equation. Life plus hope equal change. Life plus hope plus education equal a greater change. Let's give the people a realistic hope through your simple kindness. Thank you very much.